Alrighty, so I just did a whole video and forgot to record. So I'm going to show you how to make a dough ball. Great. Okay, so you want 2 cups of water, exact. I use this, which is instant yeast. Works good, it always has. And that is 2 teaspoons. Yeah, 2 teaspoons, or I'm sorry, 4 of these of yeast. And I use coconut sugar. So I use 1 tablespoon of coconut sugar, which turns out great. It's not like really coconut flavor, but it's so slight you won't ever notice it anyway. So you want to use hot water that's anywhere from 80 to 100 degrees. It's crucial for the yeast, and you basically want it hot enough to dissolve the sugar and mix it all up. And I just like using chopsticks. It's the best thing to use. Now the flour, what you do is leave that sit, and then you want to mix your flour. And the flour I use is this brand, which works out really good because it's OO, which is the grain size, basically, which is like powdered sugar. Very, very ground up good. And then I use cheap because I want the yeast, or the yeast, to interact with the flour to make it rise really good. So I use good with cheap. And plus 2, your harder, what they call the harder winter wheats, is harder to dissolve the water and everything and make things work. If you use it straight up, it tends to be too stiff, takes too long. I'm fast, I want to use it now. So that's what I do, and I get good results. So I made a dough ball. Here it is. It's already starting to rise like it should. It's very good. Now once you mix it, it's going to take a little bit. If you do it by hand, it'll work all the same, but you want to keep mixing until it cleans everything up in the bowl. And then that's where I introduce the oil, and here's the oil. I just put a little bit in my hand and coat my hands and form a dough ball with the oil, because you don't want to use too much oil. It counteracts the growth and the rise of the yeast, or kills the yeast, period. So this is doing really well. So you can use this dough to make pita bread, to make pizza. You use enough of it to rise long enough, you can make your own bread. Of course, here I'm making thick crust, which I cheat a little bit. I cover it, but I put a little bit of water in and just let it go. Dough will always absorb, and covering it helps keep it warm and stabilize the temperature. So here's a pizza crust that I overbaked, but the point is with this is it separates in the middle perfectly, and this is perfect pita bread right now. All I got to do is cut it and it's already open. Done. Of course, I got the temperature set at 510 degrees. So I'm ready to make pizza, and that's what I'm gonna do. Sauce, here's a good one. This is what I've been using. It's the cheapest, the marinara sauce from Victoria. You get the pizza sauce, they charge you more for half the size of this jar, or you can use this, which to me is pretty much the same. So I got the big jar for $6. And at the same place, I get this, which is not Redner's, it's not Wise, it's Giant. That's right. Giant and Anvil has all three: the yeast, the flour, and the sauce. But yeah, so another thing to keep mindful of when you do thick crust, like I already pre-did this in the oven so it won't stick. This is non-stick pan, so I pre-cook it so it don't stick, because once everything's loaded, it weighs the dough down and makes the pan get wet, and then it wants to stick. So pizza shops do the pre-baking of the dough on a thick pan. All of them do it. They have it already ready. All they got to do is put the sauce, the cheese, whatever, and then throw it in, and bang, it's done in like 10 minutes. So this dough's ready. There's no waiting around unless you want thick crust and you want it to rise and relax like this stuff is doing, like really fast. It's good and soft, easy to touch. I didn't even put flour on this, and it's good. But once you do it, you'll learn how to make it the way you like it outside of this. But this is an all-purpose dough that works really good for pizza and a lot of other things.